So in this video, I'm going to show you how to transfer trading levels from futures to Forex. Now, why would you need to transfer levels from futures to Forex? The reason is pretty simple. If you want to trade intraday trades using the volume profile, then it is a bit more precise to create your levels on futures than on Forex. The reason for that is that futures is a centralized market. Everybody on the whole world sees the same volumes and sees the same price. Forex, on the other hand, is decentralized, which means that every data provider has a bit different volume and price data. So this means that, for example, two brokers can have a little bit different price or volumes. All right? This only applies on Forex. On futures, everybody on the whole world sees the same volumes and the same price action. So this is the reason why it's a bit more precise to create your intraday trading using futures and then transfer them to Forex and trade Forex. All right. I don't really think that this would be useful for swing trading because in swing trading, the difference is just too small to bother. All right. This just applies to intraday trading. So let me now show you how to transfer the levels from futures to Forex. On your screen, you can see two charts. The one on the left is futures for euro. The other one is the euro dollar. If you look at the price development, it's heavily correlated, almost 100% correlation. Both are 30-minute charts. As you can see, the charts look basically the same. I would say that they're like 99% identical. But if you look at the price values, those are not the same. Currently, the price on futures on the euro is at 1.1099, whereas on Forex is 1.1084, which is 15 pips apart. The price moves the same, but the price level is different. Reason for that is time value for the options on futures. So this is why you can't just take a trading level, let's say from 1.1122 and transfer it to Forex like that, because the level would be on a completely different price. So what you need to do instead is to create your level on futures and then to transfer it on Forex. So let's say that you found a trading level using the flexible volume indicator right here, where the volumes are the heaviest in this area. All right, so let's say that this is the level you created on futures, and now you want to transfer it to Forex chart, which you will trade with your broker. All right, let's say that you want to trade Forex because it's a bit cheaper, so you want to transfer the level. You want to transfer it to this chart. How I do it is I select the same area with the flexible volume profile, like this. You select the same area, and then you look for the heaviest volumes in here. So this is the area we are interested in, all right? This is the same area. You can tell if you look at the price action that this is the same area, all right? You can just tell by looking at it. So this level would be exactly in here. Let me draw a line there. This level is this level. This is how I do it. This is how I transfer the levels. You can also look for a sort of confirmation. If you look at the candles, you want to look, for example, where a body opens, where the body closes. If you, for example, look at futures data, you can see that the level is below this candle's body, all right? Exactly below it. If you look at Forex, then it's a little bit above, but it's 0.3 pips, so there's not that big difference, all right? So this is sort of confirmation of the level that you transferred it right. You can also look for more confirmations. Let's have a look, for example, at this candle. The body of the candle touches the level like this, And if you look at the right side of the screen, where the Forex chart is, you can see the candle in here. It almost touches the level, so I would say that's all right. Okay, it's just like 0.3 or 0.4 pips. So that's pretty close, I would say. All right, so that's how you transfer the levels. It's best to use the volume profile first. And then for sort of confirmation, you can also look on the candles, just like I showed you. So you can transfer levels like this for currency futures in the euro, British pound, and the Australian dollar, US dollar. For those major pairs and future symbols, you can do it like I just showed you. However, it is a bit more complicated for futures on a Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, and the Swiss franc. The reason is that in this case, the American dollar is quoted on the right side like this: euro dollar, British pound dollar, Australian dollar, US dollar. But in here, there is the US dollar, Canadian dollar, US dollar, Japanese yen, and US dollar, Swiss franc. US dollar is on the other side. And for that reason, the charts for US dollar, Canadian dollar, US dollar, Japanese yen, and US dollar, Swiss franc are reversed from their futures counterparts. That means if futures on Canadian dollar goes upwards, then US dollar, Canadian dollar will go downwards in exactly the same way. They are heavily correlated, almost 100% correlation. So the charts will look the same, only reversed. One will go upwards, the other one will go downwards. For those pairs, it's like that. And this is a bit of a pain in the ass, actually, if you want to transfer the levels from futures to Forex. It takes a bit more of time, and also 1 pip on Forex isn't equal 1 tick on futures for those pairs. Let me demonstrate, alright? The left chart, this one, is a 30-minute chart of the futures on Canadian dollar. The right chart is US dollar, Canadian dollar, also a 30-minute chart. If you look at the charts, you can tell that they are reversed. They move in the same way, but reversed. You can see, for example, in here that there is a downtrend. In here, there's an uptrend. There's a pin bar like this. Here is the same pin bar, only reversed. Also, the prices are completely different. Futures is 0.75, Forex is 1.33. It's completely different. Also, 1 tick on futures isn't equal to 1 pip on Forex. But still, you can transfer the levels as I showed you using the volume profile. You use the volume profile tool as I showed you before. So let's say, for example, that you want to create a level in here where the volumes are the thickest from this rotation. Now you need to look on the right chart and select this area. And this is the level where the volumes were the heaviest on Forex. It's a bit harder now because the charts are reversed. This level would be short level on futures, but it would be a long level on Forex. If you look for some confirmation on the candles, you can look, for example, on this candle. You can see that the line is almost at the bottom of this wick. Almost. In here, the line hits the high of this candle. So in this example, it is the high of the candle. In this example, the line hits the low of the candle. All right, this is the confirmation you're looking for. You only need to remember that it's reversed. At first, this will take you some time. Afterwards, it will become automatic process and it won't take that long. It's pretty easy actually if you do it every day, but it takes some time to get used to it, especially when the charts are reversed. Now there is one more thing I wanted to point out, and the thing is older levels. So if there is some old trading level which you created on futures, let's say that it was in here, all right, let's say that this is old level, and if there is the same level which you have on your chart on Forex, let's say that this is the level, then sometimes it can happen that the level gets actually hit on futures and missed on Forex. And if this is an older level, like 7 days or 10 days old or older, then you basically have one level which got hit in here and the same level which got missed. Now there's the dilemma. What do? Do you discard the level because it's already spent on futures, or do you still trade it because the Forex didn't touch it yet? Now, if the level is old, like 7 or 10 days, it's best to analyze the level using Forex. The reason is, if you remember at the beginning of this video, I was talking about the time value of the option, which is on the futures contracts. So this can shift the price a bit on futures, but it won't shift the price on Forex. So for older levels, it's best to use just the levels which you have on Forex. And if the level got, for example, tested like in here on futures, don't worry about it and trade the Forex. So for example, in this case, if the price hit the level again, I would still trade it because the Forex didn't actually touch the level yet. So the level isn't spent. Does it make sense? I hope it does. If all of this seems a bit complicated, then I think you don't actually need to worry about it that much. If you want to make things more simpler, then just forget that there is a futures and just trade Forex as you are used to. The difference between those two regarding the volumes and the price action is so small, it's so tiny, even though Forex is decentralized, and then only on some rare occasions the difference would be noticeable. In most cases there won't be any difference and it will be much easier for you just to follow Forex. Alright, so if this is just too complicated, if you don't want to spend time with it, I don't think you need to worry about this that much. Just stick with Forex, use the volume indicators and the VWAP for Forex. You'll see that you will have basically the same results as if you're using futures. If you want to be super precise, then maybe you can start creating your trading levels on futures and then shift them on Forex and trade them on Forex because it's a bit cheaper. But if you don't need to be that extra precise, like I think like 90% of all of you don't need to be, then just stick to Forex. Alright, so that's for this video. I hope you found it useful and I'll see you in the next one.